Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Michael Fortin. I am the Director of Promotion for the Maine Tax Portal here at Maine Revenue Services. I'm joined by our panelist, Lori Brand, Deputy Director of the Sales, Fuel, and Special Tax Division. And it's my pleasure to be your MC for our Retail Dealers Gasoline Shrinkage Reports webinar for the new Maine Tax Portal that became available on October 15th, 2024, which marked our fourth and final rollout of the Maine Tax Portal. The portal is now open for individuals and Maine businesses to file and pay taxes, view notices, and much more. You can visit the Maine Tax Portal information page to learn more about the portal. I'll give you the address a couple of times and we will demonstrate that a little later this morning. The address is maine.gov/revenue/portal. I'll give that to you again. It's Maine, maine.gov/revenue/portal. Before Lori gets started with her presentation, I have a few housekeeping items to review with everyone. First, the raise hand button will not be used today. The raise hand button's at the bottom of your Zoom screen, although you will have many opportunities to ask questions otherwise. And today's webinar is designed to be interactive. So therefore, once Lori begins her presentation, I'll be enabling all of our attendees to unmute your microphones and talk directly with Lori if you have a question, and we're happy to answer those the best we can today. So attendees who do not have a microphone or are more comfortable typing out your answer, your question, can simply communicate with Lori by using the Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom screen. And Lori will answer as many questions as possible today live, but if we're unable to do that and we need to get back to you, we will follow up via email following the webinar. There may be times when you'd like Lori to repeat a step that you've missed, or perhaps you're simply unable to watch the entire session today. Therefore, it'd be helpful to know that today's webinar has been recorded and can be viewed by anyone who's registered. And there are no documents or presentation materials that you'll need for today's webinar. Please feel free to take notes, but know you can always rewatch the recorded material anytime you'd like to review it. And finally, we should be reminded there can be unexpected technical challenges. We need to remember that Lori is speaking to you live. So therefore, we appreciate your understanding and ask for your patience if we should experience any technical difficulties. That concludes all of our housekeeping items, but one last point is along with Lori today, behind the scenes, we have Tyler and Bill helping us with the demonstration of the Maine Tax Portal. So we would like to thank them for their assistance. Lori, we're ready to get started.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Okay, welcome everyone. Today, Bill and I will be demonstrating Maine Tax Portal functionality, including how to create a username and password and how to submit a retail dealer gas shrinkage refund application. None of the data that we're using for this demonstration is actual taxpayer data. It is all created in our development environment. But since we're using a development environment, you will see blue populate links besides some fields such as banking information, which will not be available in the production environment. Before we get started, please take note that preferred browsers for the Maine Tax Portal are Chrome, Edge, and Firefox. Internet Explorer is not recommended or supported. As Mike mentioned, if you have questions during the presentation, we will be interactive, so you can ask questions either using the chat or unmute yourself and ask. So let's get started on this. To begin, there are several ways that you can access the Maine Tax Portal. For this demonstration, we will begin at maine.gov/revenue, which is the Maine Revenue Services homepage and is being shown on the screen right now. You can either select the red File and Pay button, or you can go directly to the green button that says Maine Tax Portal, and we'll select that button. And we are now at the home page of the Maine Tax Portal. Submitting a fuel tax refund application is, for the most part, a non-logged in activity, which means that you don't have to have a username or a password for the Maine Tax Portal. We're going to start here on the Maine Tax Portal homepage, as I mentioned, and we're going to navigate to the business panel. We're going to select the refund applications link, and under gas and fuel refunds, select the fuel application that you'd like to choose. You can, if you don't want to log into the portal or you don't have a login, you can submit your retail dealer's application just by clicking this link. And it will take you right into the application. We're going to submit a refund request, but we're going to create a logon to do that, because if you have a logon, there are many other things that you can see within the portal. There's a lot more functionality. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to go back to the home page, and we're going to show you how to create a username for this. So this is only required if you want to create the login. Again, you don't need to. So we're going to show you how to do that though. So there are two ways to create a username. You can click on the create a username link that is in the top panel underneath login. You can click on that, or you can navigate down to the quick links panel, select register and apply, and then select create a username. Both of those will take you to this exact same spot. So here are instructions and things that you will need to proceed with creating a username and the functions that you will see within the portal if you choose to do that. There are some functionality that you'll be required to log in for, like if you were filing a different type of return, a sales tax return or something like that, you would need to have a login. So from here, we're going to select next. And here you'll see 5 options, and you have to choose one of those options. For the tax type being demonstrated today, you can select I represent a business or organization, which means your tax accounts are registered under an EIN, or an individual, meaning your accounts are registered under a social security number. So we're going to choose number 1, that we represent a business or organization, and then we'll select next. And here's the required information that you'll need for the type of option that you chose. Once you have that information, you can select next. And here we are at the Validate Tax Information page. All fields that are required are marked with a red asterisk. So we're going to select our ID type first. You have 3 options, and we're going to select Federal ID, and then we're going to enter that ID number. And then the account type associated with our business. We're going to select Retail Dealer Gas Shrinkage from the list. And then we'll select Next. The verification type asks for the amount of overpayment from one of your past 3 filed applications. You can also use a letter ID. Because this is a refund request, we're going to choose the letter ID. And that can be any letter that you have received from Maine Revenue Services. You could also have been issued an invitation letter, and you can use that as well. An example of that letter is showing on the screen right now. The information that you'll need to proceed with creating a username is in the upper right-hand corner. It's the letter ID and the letter date. And the letter ID has to match the letter date. You can't use 2 separate pieces of information, meaning a letter ID with a different date. Okay, let's jump back. We have that letter ID, so let's select Next. And here we're going to enter the letter ID and the letter date. And then select Next. And here you will enter information that is created by you. We don't assign a username. You can select whatever you like. So you'll enter that information and contact information such as your first and last name, an email address, and then you'll confirm that email. You'll be asked to choose if you'd like to go paperless for your mail delivery. You can select yes, but keep in mind that some types of mail are required to be sent via USPS service. The security panel requires you to enter a password that you would like to use. You can view the password requirements by clicking the blue circled I icon beside the word password. If you click on the blue eye at the end of the password field, it will show your passwords. You can use that to confirm that they match. Once your passwords do match, you will no longer be able to see them. The fields will turn to all asterisks. And then you would select your secret question from the list and your answer. The phone type defaults to a cell phone, but you can select whatever type that you like from the list. And then you can enter your phone number and select next. Here's a summary of what you've entered when you're creating your username. If everything looks good, you can select submit. And you'll enter your email address twice for confirmation. This is pretty standard throughout the main tax portal. For all submissions, you will enter your email address. And once you've done, you can select OK. And here's your submission confirmation. So you'll either want to print this out using the printable view or note the confirmation code for your records. Again, submitting an RDGS or retail dealer gas shrinkage refund application does not require that you be logged into the portal, but we wanted to show you this additional functionality. So now we're going to log into the portal using the username and password that we just created. Going to enter that information here. And here you'll be required to set up your two-step verification. You'll only be required to set this up once. However, you will have to authenticate each time that you log into the portal. So the option that you choose should match what you would have available to you whenever you're logging into the portal. So you can choose from either the authentication app, email, or a text message. We're going to select email. And we're going to enter the email address. And then select save. And now we'll enter the security code that we received from that confirmation email, but because we're using a development environment, we're just going to click that blue populate link that you won't have access to, and then select confirm. Okay, you'll be given a second chance if you want to add another authentication method, just for backup purposes. We're not going to do that, so we're going to confirm. And here we are inside the main tax portal. So once you're logged into the portal, you'll be able to see all of the tax types that are registered under this entity on the summary tab, which is where you are right now. The next tab that you see up at the top is the Action Center. Under the Action Center, you will see all of the actions that you have to take, if any. This indicates that you have 2 unread letters and that your sales tax return needs to be filed. The next tab is called the Settings tab. And under that, you would be able to change your mail notification, your mail delivery type. And then we have the More tab. Under the More tab, you will be able to see letters that you received from Maine Revenue Services, any messages. You'd be able to look for your submissions, meaning what you'd filed or paid. You'd be able to manage your payments and returns, submit refund applications. This is where most of the functionality is. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay, not hearing any, so we're going to go back to the home page. Let's select the Summary tab.
Really cool.
And then we're going to navigate down to where it says Retail Dealers Gas Shrinkage. That is the panel that you want to be on. And here you'll see that you have options to make a payment, view and file returns, and then submit your retail dealer's gas shrinkage refund application. So let's select that. Okay. Title 36, Chapter 451, which is for the Gasoline Act, allows for a refund to retailers for tax paid on account of shrinkage or loss by evaporation or internal combustion engine fuel in an amount no greater than 0.5% of the tax paid on gross purchases for fuel delivered into that retail storage tank and dispensed into the fuel tank of a motor vehicle or watercraft. This program has very specific filing dates and due dates. As an example, for the period of January through June, which is the first filing season, the application can be submitted from July through September 30th. And for the second period, which is July through December, the application can be submitted from January to March 31st. The due dates are statutory, so missing them by even 1 day will result in a denial of refund. It doesn't matter what the reason, doesn't matter if the postmaster lost your letter, it does not matter. If these are mailed to us or submitted on the main tax portal and they are either postmarked 1 day late or submitted 1 day late, your refund will be denied. Are there any questions so far? Okay, I do see that we have one. If you want to change the two-step verification type after it's already set up, where do you do that? So I believe that you can go up to where your name is, your profile, view profile menu, and go to your profile. And from here, you can change your email. You can select your, right there, where it was just selected. So go up to where your person icon is and then manage your profile. And from there it is right there. Codes are sent via email. You can change that two-step authentication right there. Okay, thank you, Bill. Let's get back to the application. All right. Okay, alrighty, so here are your instructions. This is what you would need to have. We've changed this up a little bit. So when you are submitting your application on the main tax portal or via paper, we require that you provide to us an affidavit signed by your supplier. Okay, well, let me rewind that a little bit. You used to complete the paper application, which would have a portion for your retailer that would your supplier rather, that would be required to be signed, and then you would sign it as well. That still exists. But in addition to that, and when you sign it on the main or submit it through the main tax portal, you're required to attach a statement from your supplier denoting the number of gallons that you have purchased within the refund period. It also should contain the supplier's name, address, a true statement like you would receive if you were well, you are a customer, but like your average customer would get. It needs to have their letterhead, their address, so that we have documentation of where you're purchasing your fuel. That's the big change. Once you've had that information, you can select Next, and we'll show you where to attach that because you will need to attach it when submitting it. So here, because this is a logged in activity, your information is going to be, meaning your legal name and ID, will be pre-populated. If you're unsure of what a business trade name is, it's typically a DBA, but if you're unsure, you can click on that blue circled I and it will give you the information. So from here, we're going to enter a contact person. And that's who we'd reach out to if we have questions about the application. And then the phone number. And we'll enter our email address. And then we can select Next. Okay, and now we're on the address screen. And again, because this is a logged in activity, your address is pre-populated and verified. So that blue address verified link at the bottom, normally you would have to verify that, meaning you'd click the link, but because we're logged in, it's already done. So we can select Next. And now you have your claim information. The period, because of the period or because of the date we're logging in, the period that we're allowed to submit a refund application for is already pre-populated. So from here, we're going to enter the number of gallons of gasoline that we want to claim a refund for, and that automatically calculates the tax collected. And then we're going to enter, if we have other types of fuel like E10 or another blend, notice that you can't submit any diesel on this because it's a retail dealer's gas shrinkage, so no diesel. And it's calculating the refund out for you as you enter the number of gallons based on the rate of that fuel type. So if everything looks good here, you can select Next. And here's the documentation tab that I mentioned at the beginning of the application. This is where you would attach that supplier statement, and you would do that by clicking the blue Add Attachment link. And from here, this will open your file browser, and you would select the type of file, which is going to be supplier statement. You'll select Choose File to choose your file. And then say OK. And once you've done that, your document will show in the attachments table below. And now we're going to select Next. If your refund is less than $20,000, you can select to receive that refund via direct deposit right here. You'll be asked if you would like to receive your refund via direct deposit. You can select yes or no. We're going to select yes, and then we're going to answer no, that our account is not outside the US. If your account is outside the US, then you're out. No direct deposit. You would have to receive your refund by check. So from here, we'll enter our routing number. And that pre-populates the bank name, and then we'll enter our account number. And again for verification. And then you'll be required to select your bank account type from either savings or checking. And then you can select Next. And here is the required declaration. This means, by signing this, it means that the document that you're submitting to Maine Revenue Services is accurate and correct to the best of your knowledge. So select that box and then enter the name of the person that is submitting the application twice for verification. And then you can select Submit. And that's it. Here is your confirmation number. You can use a printable view to print this out. This will print out a copy of your submission. You can keep a copy of this for your records. And that concludes mine and Bill's demonstration. So thank you everyone for joining us today. And back
So
to you, Mike.
thank you, Lori. We'd like to invite our audience, take this opportunity to ask any questions you may have. We'll be hanging on here for a couple more minutes. Please enter your questions using the Q&A area at the bottom of your screen. And while we're waiting for those questions, I would like to take a quick look at the Maine Tax Portal information page and show you that page. It contains a lot of helpful information about the portal. And right now, let me see, we're looking at the Maine Tax Portal information page here. You can get to it from our homepage. So the homepage is maine.gov/revenue, which is the our page that you see on your screen right now. And if you were to scroll the page down and look under the heading that says important updates, you'll see a link. It's the fourth one from the top there. It says important information about the Maine Tax Portal. So if you click that, it will bring you directly to the Maine Tax Portal information page. And you can navigate directly here if you want to type the address in to your browser, and the address, of course, is main.gov/revenue/portal. Again, main.gov/revenue/portal. So we're going to take a look at the page. You'll see right at the top, there's an introduction. It tells you about the portal, and there's a short video there as well. And we'll scroll down just a bit further, and you'll see there's 4 rollout boxes. So the main tax portal was implemented over a period of a few years, and each of those rollouts, which occurred in October of each year, brought in additional tax types for each rollout. So we just completed most recently the final rollout 4, and if you hover over the box, it will show you which tax types were brought in at that point. There's also some additional blue buttons down below that. You'll see it says main tax portal login. So that's a quick way of jumping over to the portal itself to perform any logged in or non-logged in functions. And then the next button are FAQs. We'll click that and show you those. The FAQs are questions that have been summarized from attendees like yourself who have attended webinars in the past. So the questions are organized so they're easy to find. And it's a great way of learning about the portal. If after today's session you still have questions that come up, there's a good chance that one of those questions may be in this list. So it's a great resource for you. We're going to click back now and back to the main page. And then back to the blue buttons underneath. The rollout boxes there. So you'll see instructional videos. We'll click that for a moment also. The instructional videos are little video clips for all kinds of functions and features of the main tax portal. Another great way of learning the portal when you're first getting started and you're using it for the first time. There's great instruction there and shows you step by step how to use those different features. So wanted to make sure you're aware of that. And that's of course available 24 hours a day. So you'll have that available anytime you need it. We're going to click back now. And we'll scroll down again. And wanna point out to the olive green colored section at the bottom of this page. We have just one more webinar session left coming up, and it's a repeat of today's session. So if you wanted to repeat today again, feel free to register. You can certainly do that and join us for another session. But right next to that is the button for recording of past webinars. So any of the prior webinars we've had, all of the rollouts of the main tax portal are listed here. And once we complete the webinar final session for this topic, we will post the video here as well. But those of you who are in attendance today do not need to wait for that video to be posted. You will be receiving in your email tomorrow a link to the recording where you can go to the Zoom website and watch a repeat of today's if you'd like to review the material. All right, and we're going to click back now. And we do want to point out the best way to contact us. There is a contact information number on this page, but depending on the question, that we may have, of course, a different source of information for you to let you know about. So this number here, the Taxpayer Assistance Center, is the best place to call if you have questions about the portal itself. Like, for example, if you're having trouble with your username or password, there's a team that is ready to assist with those types of questions. The Taxpayer Contact Center phone number is listed there, and I'll read it to you a couple of times. It's 207-624-9784. One more time, 207-624-9784. And their email address, if you'd like to email them, taxpayerassist@maine.gov. That's MAINE.gov, taxpayerassist@maine.gov. If you have questions in regards to the shrinkage reports that we talked about, the best source, of course, would be the sales tax division, and their telephone number is 207-624-9693. And that phone number is not on this page, but it is on the Maine Revenue Services homepage itself. You'll find it there. But for your convenience, just give it to you now. So the sales tax phone number again is 207-624-9693. You see it on your page there. He's demonstrating that for you. And then the email address is fuel.tax@maine.gov. Again, that's fuel.tax@maine.gov. Okay, that concludes the information I had here today. It looks like there's a couple of other questions here in the Q&A area. Lori, do you want to cover those before we close out today?
I do. Sorry for the dark screen. My light shut off. I can't turn it back on. So there are a couple of questions. They're a combination question, so I'm going to answer them. They both are related to the statement. So the first is asking, do you have an example of the declaration to be attached? I don't, because that's going to vary by supplier. The next question is, what is the statement that needs to be sent from the supplier? Does it need to show the total gallons? And the answer to that is yes. On a supplier statement, what I would expect to see and what we have been seeing are it's a statement that you would receive from any vendor that you have. In this particular case, for fuel taxes, I would expect to see the name of the supplier. I would expect to see their address. I would expect to see your account number, meaning your account number with them, although that's not relevant to us, the number of gallons that you purchased and the months in which you purchased those gallons. That breakdown is going to be required because we're going to need to see that it was what dates it was for and that it is within that allowable period. Meaning, if you're submitting a refund application for the period of January through June, the fuel that is showing up on that statement should be purchased from those dates, January through June. And that's what we would need to see. It should also have a date and, of course, the dates that you purchased the fuel. I think that's pretty much all we would expect to see on that. That would be sufficient for our needs.
Great. Thank you, Lori.
You're welcome.
Great. I think we got all the questions covered today. So we're ready to close out today. Before we do, we want to thank Lori, Bill, and Tyler for a great job today. Appreciate it. And we want to thank all of our attendees for taking the time out of your day to join us this morning. As a reminder, we have recorded today's webinar. It can be viewed by anyone who's registered, and we'll be sending out a link in your email tomorrow where you can visit the Zoom website and look at that anytime you need to. We want to recap those important points that we covered today. The Maine tax portal is now open for individuals and Maine businesses to file, pay taxes, view notices, and much more. And the retail dealers' gasoline shrinkage reports went live on October 15th, 2024, and you can visit the Maine tax portal information page if you would like to access those resources I showed you, the instructional videos, the FAQs, or just learn more about the portal itself. That web address, one more time, is maine.gov/revenue/portal. And if anyone has a question about the Maine tax portal, especially usernames and passwords, you can contact the MRS Taxpayer Contact Center, and that telephone number is 207-624-9784, or you can email them at taxpayerassist@maine.gov. And for all other questions related to fuel tax, sales tax, especially the topic we discussed today, you'd want to call the sales tax division at 207-624-9784 or email them at fuel.tax@maine.gov. So that closes out our webinar today. Thank you all for attending, and we wish you all a great rest of your day.